Hello and welcome to 10,000 Stitches Podcast, a weekly chit chat all about the joys of sock knitting. This is episode 23 and my name is Andy. If you wanted to find me on the interwebs, you can find me on social media. So that's Instagram, Twitter, and Ravelry as Purlbug, Purlbug, or you can find my website at thepurlbug.com. Or there's the YouTube channel for 10,000 Stitches Podcast and a Ravelry group for 10,000 Stitches Podcast. If you are looking for any links to patterns or anything, that will depend on where you're watching this. If you're watching this on YouTube, in the description box below the video, there will be a link to the specific blog post that goes with this episode, as well as the Ravelry group. And then if you're watching this on the blog or the Ravelry thread for this episode, underneath the video will be all the links to patterns, shops, anything like that I mention, that will be linked there. And I feel like my camera's at a goofy angle. I moved it earlier this week so I could Skype with my father, who I think I mentioned he moved recently. That's fine. He moved recently, and so I moved the camera onto... Anyway. Today is Sunday, May 8th. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, even if you're just a pet mama. That's fine too. I don't have kids, so I don't really... I just got off the phone with my mom, so obviously that's great. But it kind of is a bummer that I don't get to be home, but I will be home in a couple weeks, which I will talk about later on. Anyway, so this is being recorded on Sunday, May 8th, and it will be uploaded and live on Tuesday, May 10th. Let's see, the format for today is kind of the usual thing. I'm looking at my notebook right now. We'll talk about FOs, works in progress, what's coming up. We'll talk about the knit along, question of the week, and then we'll do chit chat. So same old. And it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and for the first time in a couple of months, I didn't have to tutor today. Yeah, so that's been nice. I've been home all day, which is really good because I haven't been feeling great today. But again, I'll talk about that later. Let's talk about knitting stuff right now. So, finished object. I finished my first pair of lace socks yesterday. These ones, I was actually surprised by how fast they seemed to go, so that was really nice. And the next pair that I'm working on currently seem to be going fast as well, so that's a nice change after cables, which just seem to take forever. So this first pair was, the pattern is By the Seine River, and, oh dear, okay, I can tell you who it's by. Let's see. The pattern is By the Seine River, and that is by Donna Knits. And like I said, I will link everything in the description below. But By the Seine River, Donna Knits, and let me get back to where I was before. I have the desktop in the background so I can look up names and things. So yeah, these were made to fit me. The yarn is Knit Picks Felici in the Nassau, whatever, colorway. It's these really pretty mints and greens and teals and turquoises and stuff. And these were a 72 stitch sock knit on US size 1s, which are 2.25 millimeter needles. And they're not super short, but they're not super long either. You can see that's where the heel is. Fish Lips Kiss heel. So the interesting thing that I did with these is this one was the first one that I did. And this one was knit top down. Yeah, this one was knit top down with a Fish Lips Kiss heel. This one was knit toe up, and this one has a traditional short row wrap and turn heel. So you can see the waves are going in opposite directions, which I thought was really fun. And the yarn, of course, is striping in opposite directions too, I think. Yes, maybe? Yes, it is. So I just thought that was kind of fun, given that it's, they're kind of like ocean waves. I was like, it'll be fun. And they fit exactly the same. I can't tell the difference, which one is on which foot. So that's good, because when you're doing a short row heel, whether you do it top down or toe up, it shouldn't make a difference. As long as you know the measurements, it doesn't matter. It should fit you no matter what. So yeah, and the reason that I did a wrap and turn heel on the second one is because, let me show you them side by side. So let's see here. This one is the Fish Lips Kiss heel. So that's how that one looks from the side, like that. And then this one is the wrap and turn heel. So you can, they're pretty much the same. They're not really very different. It's not really going to focus on that. Anyway, the Fish Lips Kiss heel basically just makes it so you don't have to do wrap and turn. But like at the end of the day, they're still both short row heels. So the reason that I was doing the wrap and turn heel is because I think I'd mentioned this before. I want to do kind of a tutorial series on like, so you're knitting your first sock, and really be able to like walk people through step by step by step how to do their first sock. Like, you know, from the basics, like picking out your yarn and your needles, to then actually casting on and knitting. And, you know, I like the Fish Lips Kiss heel. It definitely makes short row heels a lot easier, but it is like a proprietary heel, like, right? Like I can't show on an episode or on a tutorial how to do this because it's a paid pattern and that just wouldn't be right. So rather than saying, oh, you have to go purchase this pattern and then good luck figuring it out, because I know some people just can't figure it out, I wanted to make sure that I knew how to do a traditional wrap and turn heel so that I can show how to do that. And it's actually not that hard. Like I feel like it's one of those things where like the first couple times I will have to do it, I'll have to look at the directions and like see, oh, how do I pick up these wraps? But like once I got into it and I was doing it consistently every row, it's not like I had to look at the directions all the time. I just had to do it to kind of get it in my brain, and then it just became muscle memory. So yeah, that's those. I actually meant to record this podcast earlier today, but I didn't get a chance to because I wore these yesterday. So it's been a little bit cooler here lately, like cool enough, and especially because we don't have carpet in our apartment, that like I've been wanting to wear socks around the apartment. So I actually finished these and then put them on my feet yesterday, not thinking like, oh, I have to show these off tomorrow. And so I had to hurry up and like wash them and make sure that they were like of the proper shape. So like you can see they're a little bit fuzzy and pilly already, but it's fine. This yarn, so this, I think this is my first time working with the Knit Picks Felici, and which I can't tell. I don't know if that's being made anymore. Like when I got on their website the last time, I couldn't find it. But anyway, I'm kind of meh about it. Like it's to me, all of those like nylon merino blends are kind of all the same. Like they just all feel kind of the same. So it's kind of like, well, it's about the same as the Cascade Heritage sock. So I neither love it nor hate it. It just is. But yeah, so that's that. This is a great pattern, I think, if you have a self-striping yarn that you just don't know what to do with and you don't want to just knit a vanilla sock. Because, like I said, it's a 4-row pattern, but 3 of those 4 rows you're just knitting. And it makes the cool wavy pattern in a self-striping yarn. So, highly recommend. So yeah, that was that. And then what's currently in progress is my Vita socks. And so this is a pattern by Mina of the Knitting Expat. And she released this a while ago, and I think I've had it like in my library or whatever, just waiting to like do it for quite a while now, and I'm finally doing it. So this one I cast on yesterday. This is the first one. And again, this is being knit on US size 1s, 2.25 millimeter needles. And this sock, I decided to do a 68 stitch sock, but I'm doing it a little goofy in that I have 32 stitches on my front needle and then 36 on the back needle, because 72 seems just the tiniest bit too big, but 64 is the tiniest bit too small, so I figured I'd try 68. But by dividing them up 32 and 36, it meant that I could do my Fish Lips Kiss heel nice and evenly, like it easily divides into thirds, and then the front of the leg perfectly matches one of the charts. Not like it would have been hard to add a stitch to the side of each side of the chart, but this way I just don't have to think about it. So yeah, this is it so far. I did the cuff in, it's Cascade Heritage, and I forget what exactly the color is, and of course I don't have the label here with me, but it's this like really creamy white kind of color. It's showing up, I think, a little bit more like bright white than it is. It's a really pretty cream color. And I bought this way back when I bought the rest of my Cascade Heritage, and I really love it, but like I just kept not using it. And I finally realized I'm just not gonna knit this up into an all white sock. So I wound it up into a ball, and I'm gonna use it for some cuffs and toes on things. And that's probably how most of it will get used up. So yeah, I knit the cuff in that, and then this is how the pattern looks. And the yarn that I'm using for the majority of the sock is an opal yarn, and I cannot for the life of me remember which yarn it is. And I am not sure where the tag is. This is how it looks. I bought it forever ago. And I think I started a couple of things with it and then just kept frogging everything because it just, like this is how it looks when it knits up, and I wasn't enjoying a vanilla sock made out of it, and I just couldn't quite find the right yarn, the right pattern to go with it. So it's just been sitting there, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to use this. And I'm not entirely sure that it's the best yarn for this pattern. Like, I mean, yes, you can see kind of the leafy pattern, but it's not super distinctive. But at the same time, like, I'm glad to be using the yarn up, and the pattern does give it just like enough interest that it works fine. So yeah, this may not have been the best yarn choice for this pattern, but I think it's working fine. So yeah, like I said, I did a fish lips kiss heel on this. I am about an inch past the end of the heel, and similar to the other lace socks, like progress on this has been going super fast. So I'm really enjoying that. So yeah, now I'm just on to the foot, knitting the foot, and I will do the toe in this color as well. So yeah, that's that one. And yeah, I'm liking the pattern. Once I kind of like did a repeat or two of the pattern, I kind of realized what was going on, and now I don't need to look at the pattern anymore, which is really nice. But like, she does have written instructions and charted instructions, which I always appreciate. Like, nothing drives me more nuts than a pattern that doesn't have a chart, because while I remember a time when I couldn't read charts and how useful written out instructions are, now that I can read charts, it's like, just give me the chart. I don't want to have to keep like reading things, you know. But yeah, the pattern's really well written. And the only thing I would note is that if you're trying this, so on the pattern, there's a couple of triple decreases that need to be done. There's like a right facing and a left facing or leaning triple decrease. And for the right leaning triple decrease, she does a knit 3 together, which is fine. And then for the left leaning triple decrease, she does a slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, which I did for the first repeat or so of the pattern. And let me see if I can pull this out easily. I did that. Like, I tried it and I didn't love it. And of course, I doubt it's going to focus on this. So that's what that looks like. Come on, focus. You know you want to. Maybe. I sense that it's not going to want to focus on it. Come on. Come on, you scoundrel. Focus. Anyway, I don't think it's going to focus. But it just didn't look quite as neat as I wanted it to. So then I started doing a slip, slip, slip knit. Like, it's the same as a slip, slip knit, except you slip 3 stitches instead. So you slip 3 stitches knitwise, and then you knit those 3 stitches together through the back loop. And that's what I've been doing. And I feel like it much better mirrors the knit 3 together, because it's basically the same action. So that's what I've been doing, and I like it a lot better. So that's another option if you're doing that pattern for that left leaning triple increase, is a slip, slip, slip knit. All right, and let's talk about what's coming up. And I feel like I'm being way chattier than usual today, and maybe that's because I haven't just spent this afternoon talking to other people. So who knows, maybe now that I'm done tutoring, the length of my episodes will increase just a little bit, because I'm like, oh, I haven't been doing things all afternoon. Let's talk like I'm doing right now. Anyway, what's coming up? So the next pair of socks after the Vita socks are the Paragon socks by Very Busy Monkey. And I'll link those. And so the yarn that I have picked out for that one is this. This is a Cascade Heritage sock, and the colorway is 5686. And it's this really pretty like cadet blue. It's like a blue-gray kind of color. And I picked this because I might choose to do the Paragon socks. I have to look at the pictures again really quick. It's a lot of patterning, but like at the same time, like it doesn't seem like overly busy. So I wanted to pick a color that would be a nice manly color, because I'm thinking I might try and knit these for my older brother, because he's like the one person in my life who I haven't knit socks for yet, because he insists that he can't wear wool socks. Not because he's like allergic, but I think because he thinks his feet will get too warm. But at the same time, like, I don't know if he's ever really worn like merino socks. Because like, to me, like this isn't like the same as like, you know, super hardy rustic wool. So I might try making these for him with that pattern. And I think like he's a historian, like he does like history stuff. And somehow like that pattern just makes me think of like the socks that a historian would wear. So that's what I think these ones will become. So that will be the next one. And then after that, the next pair that I have in my queue is Piece of My Heart socks by Dee Kissinger. And I think this is what I'm going to use for those. And it's showing up really bright. I mean, it is really bright. It is neon pink. But this is some neon yarn. This is Plymouth Yarns Neon Now. And I forget what number this colorway is. It's either like 1 or 5. But I had the other colorway, which is these, right? I made these neon socks out of the other ball of the Neon Now that I had. And so then I've had this, and I have used a little bit of it. Like, this is not a full 100-gram skein, but I want to use this up for those Piece of My Heart socks, and so I might make them as like shorter socks, just to make sure that I have enough yarn. And I will probably also do the like cuffs and toes with this creamy colored yarn. But yeah, so this is what I'm going to use for that, because that pattern, it's like little hearts, and so it just kind of like requires something like super pink. And I just don't know when I'll ever use this yarn, and I don't have anything else that I really feel like would work for that pattern. And I don't want to buy more yarn yet because, like I said, I have a trip planned at the end of the month, and we'll be stopping over in Minneapolis for a little bit. So I kind of want to like wait until I can maybe go to that yarn shop that I went to over Christmas and pick up some more like solid colors and stuff there, because then I can do it in person. I can pick out exactly what I want, and I can just stick it in a box and mail it to myself. So I figure I will just use up what I have, which is this. So that's going to be the next 2 pairs of socks. So yeah, that's what's coming up. And then for the knit along, so we just started the new knit along last week for lace socks. I won't rehash the rules. I will of course link to that thread if you're watching this somewhere other than Ravelry, so you can go find it. No finished objects yet, but there has been a lot of like works in progress posted in the chatter thread, which is super fun. I super enjoy seeing that. So yeah, so there's been progress being made on it, so that's really exciting. And I'm hoping that other people find lace socks to be as fast as I'm finding them to be, because it seems like with lace socks, there's a lot more just like rows of plain knitting, which I'm really enjoying. And hopefully it's a good rest for other people too, to kind of, it's like it's almost vanilla, but it's not quite vanilla. So yeah, lots of good stuff going on with that. And I have not actually mailed the last knit along prize yet, so I'm sorry. It will be mailed by the time this goes live. This weekend has been crazy. So it's sitting right here, right next to me, and I'm like, ah. So it will get mailed. It will be to the winner by the end of the week. So yeah, that's that. And then I'm trying to think of other knitting things other than the question of the week. Oh, did I not write this down? Apparently I didn't write it down. I tried my drop spindle. So I showed you guys last week in the Fiber Festival video a drop spindle that I got. So this is the drop spindle that I got, and I cannot for the life of me remember who I got it from. I'm really sorry, but it's just a basic I guess it's bottom loading drop spindle. I think that's the right phrasing. And so I'd shown this like forever ago when I got it, but my older brother got me this for Christmas. It's this roving from a sheep named Harry, apparently. And so he got me this for Christmas, and because I didn't have a spindle, I couldn't do anything with it. So then I got the spindle at the Fiber Festival last weekend, and I wasn't feeling super great this afternoon, and so I was like, let's try and learn how to do this. So I watched some videos on YouTube, and I think I kind of get it. My first couple of attempts were very rustic. So like this was one of my first attempts at it, and you can see it is not very even. It's pretty bad. I don't even know if this counts as yarn. I don't really know. Okay, people who spin, so like, right, like you have to get some twist into it. So like this yarn is like a really bad example of what I'd done. But if I like let it kind of collapse on it, is it supposed to do that, right? Like, does plying it help to fix that? Because like singles that I've knit with before, they don't do that. But then again, they're commercially produced. So is this normal? Is this what it's supposed to do? But anyway, yeah, so it's very uneven. This was just like a first chunk that I tried to do. And what I learned is that it's way easier to do this stuff when you are sitting down. Like I was trying to do it standing up, and that was way too hard. So then once I sat down, I kind of got the hang of it. And so that's what's on here now, is it's it's not like super even, but it's much more even than what it was. And so I kind of hit a stopping point, and so I stopped. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, like, once I get however much on here. Like, I still have a lot to learn. Like, this is super rough, and, like, I have to learn, like, okay, how do I take this off of here? And then what do I do with it? Like, how do I, if I want to not have a single, like, how do I apply this together? But, it has been really fun, and I'm going to keep trying to do just, like, a little bit every day this week to kind of get it into, like, my muscle memory, how to do that. But I'm really enjoying it, and I definitely can see this, like, if I were to get good at it, like, opening up, like, a whole new world of, like, hand-spun socks. Because when I was at the Fiber Festival last weekend, like, I looked at all the fiber that was there, and it's so pretty. And I was like, I don't know what to do with you. But now I'm learning. So this was really fun. This was, my afternoon. And like I said, I'm getting better at it. But if you are a spinner, or if you had learned to spin at some point and you know of, like, really good YouTube videos for it, let me know, because I can use all the help I can get. And I mean, I think this is probably not necessarily, like, the highest quality spindle or drop spindle either. I mean, it's fine. Like, it works fine. But eventually I will probably get something better. But if you know, like, tell me what it is that I should look for. Like, I picked this one out because it was cheap and I didn't want to, like, make a huge investment into this. But let me know, like, if I were to look into getting, like, a Turkish drop spindle or something else, like, what should I look for? Because I have no idea. Yeah, so that's that. That was something that happened this afternoon. Okay, so then question of the week. I don't think I did a question of the week last week because I was at the Fiber Festival, so no results of the question of the week last week. My question of the week this week is not super knitting related, but I guess kind of. So I am super behind on my knitting podcast because the work that I've been doing at work lately doesn't really lend itself well to being able to watch YouTube videos while I work. Like, sometimes it does. Like, sometimes what I'm doing, I can sit there and watch a YouTube video kind of out of the corner of my eye. Right now I can't. So I've been listening to a lot of, like, audio podcasts. And if you guys are curious, I will link to some of the audio podcasts that I've been listening to. They're not at all knitting related. A lot of them are actually, like, kind of like productivity and workflow related. And I listen to a couple of tech podcasts too. And it's weird because, like, I'm not really that into, like, tech stuff, but it's, like, nice background noise and it's interesting and I learn things from it. Anyway, so I'm swiftly running out of, like, back episodes of these things to listen to. And so I was thinking about maybe trying out some audiobooks. So I was wondering if anyone has audiobook suggestions that I might want to check out, because I don't have, like, a ton of time to just go, like, sorting through, what's out there. So here's what I like. I like mysteries or thrillers. Like, I really love, like, the Da Vinci Code and stuff. Just not so much, like, the subject matter is not super important, but, like, just kind of, like, Dan Brown's, like, style of writing and his pacing, and kind of, like, if any of you guys have ever listened to those on audiobooks, then you know what I mean. Like, he gets you. Like, I used to listen to those in the car when I was driving back and forth to Nebraska, because it's like, it just really keeps you engaged. Like, every chapter end leaves you hanging. You're like, but what happens next? And then he's on to something else. And you're like, but what's going on? So those are the kinds of things that I really like. I like kind of action-packed books. So let me know if you have any suggestions for that. Because like I said, I'm running out of podcasts to listen to. So I'd be curious to find maybe some books, some other things to kind of enrich my mind while I'm working, and while I'm just, like, sitting there endlessly typing, staring at a screen, something to keep my mind busy. Because especially now that, like, the classes are done and stuff, until summer classes start, I basically have no human contact during the day. So, it's nice to kind of have, like, something to listen to. It feels a lot less lonely then. And with that, that's going to be the end of the knitting stuff this week. So if that's all you're here for, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again next week. If you want to hear a little bit about my week, let's carry onward. So this week was a very, very rainy week here. I think it rained, like, every single day this week. And some days it was more rainy than others, but it just, like, almost every day at some point it was just, like, downpouring. And it was really bad because, like, I don't really have, like, rain boots or anything. And so I'm going to show you what I was been wearing. And this is, like, a really sad point of my week. So I think I've talked about these before, but, like, I had these sandals that I really like. They're similar to Keens if you have Keens, but it's a different brand. But I've had these for a couple of years, and I really like them because they're nice and like rubbery on the bottom. So like even when they get wet, like I don't lose my grip on like wherever I'm walking. And the only downside is like once they get wet, they take like the neoprene takes kind of forever to dry. But anyway, so I would wear these, and it, you know, like granted, like they have holes and stuff in them. So like, you know, you'd expect that if you were like splashing through puddles, your feet would get wet. But like I've been noticing lately, I'm like, wow, like when I wear these and it's wet out, like my feet have been getting really wet, like more than I remember. And it also was like the weirdest thing because it felt like water was like coming up like from underneath my feet. And I was like, what the heck? That's weird. Well, so then at one point I just decided to like investigate, and like they have this like removable insole part. And so I noticed you can kind of see it. Oh, there. You can see through the insole. So I noticed, I was like, oh, there's a hole in my insole. That's no good. So then I took that out and I started investigating the shoe, and I realized that that there is a hole in the bottom. So you can see like one of the pieces of tread came loose. So there are holes in the bottoms of both of the pair. I mean, granted, like even if only one had a hole, it's still not like, okay, sorry, can't do this anymore. But that's just such a, oh, sorry. But yeah, so that was just such a bummer because like I really like those shoes and they're super comfortable. Yeah, they're like super comfortable, and I mean I can still wear them when it's like dry out, but like I can't wear them when it's wet out now because it seems like it just suctions water up into the shoes. So that's kind of a bummer. But anyway, so yeah, it was a very wet, rainy sort of week, just kind of a bleh week, which I guess kind of fits because it was the last day of the semester was on Tuesday, and then finals week started on Thursday. So like, you know, that was kind of the mood that everyone had around here anyway, was just very bleh. But that was kind of a bummer. I think I mentioned that what I'm doing at work right now is I am retyping a whole bunch of our lab manuals into LaTeX. And so just like all week it's just been doing that, and I can definitely like feel it in my wrists like at the end of the day when I've been typing all day. When I'll come home and like knit, it's like my wrists are just like super sore. And I've been trying different things, like I will sometimes type on my laptop, sometimes I will hook another keyboard into my laptop and like put it down on my lap or something, but no matter what, like it's not good work for me. So I'm really looking forward to like being done with that, but I got a good portion of the way through another one of the classes. So that's been good. I'm trying to think of what else I did this. We bought our tickets for our trip to California. I don't remember if I mentioned this. I think I did. At the end of the month, we are planning on heading out to California. So it's kind of a weird like vacation. Like, so we're leaving here and we're going from Richmond to Minneapolis because, otherwise, I don't know when we were going to see like Wesley's parents again. And like my brother and stuff. So like we're taking a stop in Minneapolis for like 2 days or something, and then flying from Minneapolis out to Los Angeles, and then Los Angeles back to Richmond. So grand total, we're going to be gone, like we leave on a Wednesday and we come back on a Wednesday. So we're going to be gone like a full week. But it's to 2 different places for a couple of days each. So that will be interesting. Like, I mean, obviously I'm excited to go home and see my family and stuff. And I think Wesley's excited to go see his parents. And then, yeah, we're going to be out to LA, and I've never been to California before. So that will definitely be interesting. If you know of any good yarn shops in LA, let me know. Although what I'm apparently learning about LA is like, something can be there, but you can't get there. Like, because of traffic and stuff, it's like, I'm not going to spend 3 hours trying to get across the city. So, but if you know of anything, let me know. But yeah, so we bought our plane tickets for that, which was oofda, a lot of money. I mean, just like, I'm always astounded by how expensive flying places is. And I get that it's just the way that it is and that's how it goes. But it's just like, oh man, like that, every single time I have to buy plane tickets, it's like, this is really rough. Like, I don't want to be spending that much money on just getting there, I mean, luckily for us, we don't have to like pay for hotels or anything. And that's kind of what makes this trip possible, is that, when we're in Minneapolis, we're staying with family. And when we're out in California, we're staying with family as well. So like, luckily we don't have to pay for any hotels, because otherwise like that would double the cost of the trip. And then it's like, nope, can't do it. Sorry. But yeah, so I'm kind of excited for that. It'll be good to like get away from work for a while and just have some time where I am completely away from it and just don't have to think about work and just have some time away. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm dubious as to whether or not I'm going to like California or not, but it'll be a different new experience, and that's really what's important. So yeah, so that's coming up at the end of the month. And then the only other thing really worth mentioning, so yesterday we went out and hung out with some friends. These are a couple of grad students who just finished their masters, so they're like a year ahead of Wesley, although not really. I think they've both been here longer than that. But anyway, they had both finished up their masters, and so, I was like, oh, I need to, buy you guys a drink for finishing up your masters and stuff. So we went out and hung out with them, and like, Wesley and I don't really, like, we're not cool. We don't go out much, so like, it's pretty rare that we're out very late. So like, we were out until like 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, we got home at about 1 o'clock in the morning this morning, technically. And, and it wasn't like we'd had a lot to like drink or anything. Like, I think I'd had one drink and Wesley maybe had 2 beers or something. So like, like a pretty tame night, like, let's be realistic. But like, we were just so tired when we got home because it was just so late. But like, we got in and I like, jokingly like flopped down on the bed. And then I was like, oh, I can't get up. I'm too tired. I can't get up. And so like, I had to like, it took a lot of effort to like get up and brush my teeth and then go to bed because I was just so tired. But it was really interesting. We tried like a bar/restaurant that I'd seen but had never been to before that was interesting. I don't know. I'd be interested to go back there and eat sometime versus just like having drinks there. But it was interesting. It was also an interesting night because I had my first experience with an Uber. And if you don't know, Uber is kind of like this like new taxi thing where it's very similar to taxis in that you call them and you say, I'm here and I want to go. Well, you don't call them. You use an app on your phone. So it's like you basically say like, I'm here, and it uses your location, and I want to go here, and you request an Uber. And then whoever's closest shows up and picks you up and takes you to that place. And like, it's all like done through the app. So like, you don't actually like give them any money. Like the app charges you and then it pays them. But it's like, people who drive Ubers, like, I don't want to say they're normal people because I don't exactly know what the process is to become like an Uber driver, but like this is like a side job for them, like it's not like, I don't know. It's very weird. And like, I had never really encountered it before here because like, I don't know that I really ever saw Ubers in Lincoln. Granted, like, they've recently gotten much more popular, and it kind of is popular among people of my age group where it's like these people in their mid to late 20s who don't necessarily have a car maybe and are living in kind of an urban area, and like, when you want to go somewhere further than you can get by walking, or if you don't want to take public transit, stuff like that. But I'd always just been kind of weirded out by it, and I was like, no thanks. So last night we were going from one of these people's houses to the bar, and so she called an Uber or requested an Uber or whatever, and we rode along with her. So it was interesting, and the guy was very nice, and it was a nice car, and it was very clean and everything. But I get that not all of them are like that. But like, I think what really irked me about it was like, when we got to this place, I was like, we could have walked here. Like, this was less than a mile away. We could have walked here for free, and I think that's what really gets me is like, I would probably only ever use Uber again if I was like going to the airport, or if I really needed to like go a decent distance, like maybe more than like 10 miles or something. Because obviously, like, I'm not going to walk that far, and that typically takes me out of the range of where like a city bus will take me. So like, I would only use an Uber like in that kind of a situation if I didn't have a car available to me. Like, people who use it and it's like, well, you could have walked. Like, I mean, anything under 2 miles to me is very walkable. So I don't know. It was just very interesting. It was an interesting first experience, and I am kind of like, yeah, meh, whatever. I probably won't use it again anytime soon, but now I can say I've done it. But yeah, so I think that's about it. I'm getting kind of hungry. It's about 5 o'clock by now, so it's about dinner time. So I think I'm going to say farewell, and thank you all for hanging out with me this week. And I hope everyone's Mother's Day went well by the time you saw this. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. Bye.